We want to welcome everybody to Trosky Tuesday. My name is Trent Mongero. Of course, we have Nate Trosky. We are talking tonight about an intriguing topic. It's effective techniques to develop big league fielding posture. That's a mouthful. Okay. And what really has motivated this topic for Nate and myself is a tweet that Nate made just a couple days ago showing 10 different posture positions where he talked about the fielding diamond and he discussed some posture issues and it got huge traction, and understandably so. But before we get there, as always, we need to thank a few people and give you a few announcements before we can dive in. The first is we want to thank Steve Springer with Quality at Bats. He is a partner of ours. He's a dear friend of ours, and his content is off the charts. If it wasn't, we wouldn't partner with him. Alan Yeager with Yeager Sports, the J-Bands, another fantastic human being who's got his heart in the right position to help baseball players, and his products are also off the charts. Want to talk a little bit about some announcements that we have. The first one is our fall and winter camps. Nate, the Trosky Mongero, not the virtual camp that we did online, our actual in-person camps. We did two last fall, winter, and we had, I think, Nate, 13 states represented on average at each camp. It was a tremendous experience. We had great feedback. So we have now scheduled, I think it is 11 or 12 venues across the United States this fall and winter. And we're determined to make those happen. We know what's going on in our country with this virus, but we feel confident that we're going to be able to get them done. Visit TroskyRanch.com, upper right-hand corner, camps, drop down, make sure you hit the link for our actual camp, not the virtual camp, which took place online a couple weeks ago. Also want to talk about the blue collar lockdown that we did when we first went under a lockdown for COVID. We put that out to help players develop and get work in on their own in very small spaces. We're going to upgrade that. It's actually being turned into a course and really getting a facelift. The content won't change significantly because the content we believe is legit. But we are going to upgrade that. So be looking for that to come out soon. And of course, the same thing with our virtual camp that Nate and I just did. We had our virtual camp for 3 weeks, 3 sessions, 3 hours apiece. And those are still available to purchase online. Just to give you an idea, because we're turning those into courses also. I took notes on session 1 last night, Nate, and it was 5 type pages that I got from our first camp 1. That's how much content we covered. So hopefully you guys will get a chance to look at that. Again, that's available on TroskyRanch.com. So that's pretty much the thank yous and announcements. We want to get right into this tweet that Nate made about posture, okay? Fielding position. And I can tell you, as a high school baseball coach for 28 years, okay, I've had numerous players go play in college, and a lot of those were my shortstops over the years. And one of the hardest things to get players to do is to field with good posture. Okay. In fact, we often don't address it specifically enough. Okay? We talk about fielding triangles. A lot of us, implement a type of triangle. We want players to field the ball out front. We want glove low on the ground so that we can work up. Of course, eyes behind ball. All these things that we talk about, but we never really, at least I haven't. Maybe it's my fault, but I just watching players, Nate, I feel like that if we would address posture itself and work more on the specific posture positions, like you did with the diamond that you created as opposed to a triangle, I really think that we could clean up a lot of the issues related to fielding posture. And we're going to get into a lot of different things tonight as to the benefits and the consequences for not having good fielding posture. But I wanted to go ahead and just open the floor for you there a little bit and just let you talk a little bit about fielding posture in general before we get into some specific items with it. Are you on mute? Can't hear you.
Okay. Thank you, Trent.
Yep.
Appreciate you, brother, and everybody who makes Trosky Tuesday happen. Thank you for tuning in. We're excited about tonight. One reason why I'm so excited about it is, I've been on the journey to really find answers to infield play that I was not given. That's kind of been the journey of my life. It's like I've made time in my life. I've dedicated, pretty much my life on how do we work on areas? How do we develop areas that are underdeveloped? And from the infield side, over years of being an infielder and also being an infield coach, I'm a seeker, and I was always seeking, the right positions to field the ball in, posture positions, club positions, good first steps, accurate first steps, routes to balls. And it's kind of like going to a back doctor. You go to 10 different back doctors, and they all tell you 10 different things. And they're all doctors and they're all professionals, but it's very interesting because some are better than others. I mean, a whole nother level. And like, a lot of guys are maybe C category, B category. There's very few infield coaches that are A+ guys. It's a small number. There's a lot of guys that are infield coaches, blend in with masters. Very few elite guys that are seekers that really have answers. So I was seeking the answers for years and years. And I'm like, I'm getting so much mixed information. Information that was not actually right from people that were so-called professionals and elite guys. So, a lot of confusion, and the mental game as well. Like the mental game is so simple, but it's so complex. And it's like, how do you actually apply it, but actually makes a difference? Because we could talk about confidence all we want, but how does a player actually have it? And the voice of doubt we talk about the last few Tuesdays is in every human being. It doesn't matter who you are. So it's like, how do you actually translate information and make it functional information so that it's just not information? So in my journey, posture and fielding positions was one of the main areas I was seeking to find answers in. And it's been about a 30-year journey, going back and forth and talking to guys and people, disputing me, and me realizing, hey, maybe that wasn't the right posture, and, switching over. So my journey's been something. I've been in the Dominican for almost 20 years, watching their approach, their style, and some of the top academies with some of the best professional with Major League Baseball over there in the Dominican Republic. So I've had a very diverse education, from America, because American infielders are different. In many areas, they field. Part of the reason is because we have too much information. It goes back to what I talked about. A lot of our information is not right. And we also prioritize information that is not necessarily important. So we talk a lot about two hands and getting in front of the ball. I mean, that was my whole journey, and it still is for many. It's starting to change because there are some infield guys out there that are getting outside the box. So I was on Twitter, I was on YouTube just searching for some slow roller plays. And within 1 hour, I watched 5 different professional instructors, and I knew the majority of them. One of them was a major leaguer, one was a minor leaguer, another one was a minor leaguer, another one was a college guy, and another one was a college guy. And they were all 5 of them had missed teaches on the just the scroll that I got when I was young and that I've been hearing for years. And that's a problem, Trent, because I go to YouTube, these guys have 400, 500,000 followers. These guys are like guru guys, and they're placing priority on things that are not important. So they're priority on pieces that are not high priority pieces. We only have so much time. And then they're teaching actually improper information. That's a problem.
I agree. And that's the journey for all of us, right? To try to find the right information. And, we have to be careful because not everything, of course, is cookie cutter. We talk often about being an athlete and making plays and your body self-organizing to make plays. And the best athletes do that. So I want to make sure that the audience didn't mishear what Nate's saying. It's not that, there's some sort of cutter system, but there are consistent ways that the body works on different plays. And, I have been maybe under teaching, really just talking more about 3 zones of plays. Of course, everybody knows neutral right at you, which I would call zone 1, backhand zone 2, glove side zone 3. And and then slow rollers, of course, but never really taking it past that, and one of the beautiful things about working with Nate, as our friendship has grown, my mind has been broadened, and I've been able to incorporate certain teaching cues. I think that we've bounced things off of each other, and there's certain things that I've been able to share as well with Nate. But I think that he has really hit on this posture thing, to a degree that I am putting a lot more emphasis on it. So why don't we make posture more of a priority, Nate? Why don't we make it more of a priority? What's the problem? Why is it flying under the radar?
I'd like to first address just the one topic you just brought up, was you were talking about not cookie cutting the approach. Well, the reason why the Americans are stiffer and they're less athletic when you watch them field versus the Dominicans. I mean, when you watch, the majority of the major league shortstops are from Latin America, and it's because they don't learn the American style. That's one of the main reasons. And so when you talk about cookie cutting, that's the problem. That's what America does, cookie cut. So when you see the 10 posture positions, you backhand the ball with your left leg, your right leg, forehands left leg, right leg, drops. You can go in all different directions. It's this freedom that you actually have. But knowing that there's freedom allows you to play free. See, the American infielder is limited with information. This is the way to do it. You got to field your backhand off this foot. So what problem does that cause, Trent? I mean, I'm telling you, Trent, you have to field backhand off this foot. I mean, I learned that years ago. So it took me 10 years to figure out that you field it off like both feet in like 7 different angles. But no one ever gave me that freedom. I'm literally a bomb trying to field it right. Problem number 1. That's the problem.
Nate, you're breaking up pretty bad, and I'm having trouble. Huh?
Okay, so let me get a better connection. You could just talk for a couple minutes and I'll reconnect. Okay.
Yeah. See if we can get a better connection.
Okay.
All right. Good. So Tony, what was the question that we had? I'll see if I can handle that in the meantime. What is wrong information they emphasize beyond 2 hands? Well, we haven't got into it yet. We're going to talk more about, as we start to talk about posture. A lot of people talk about butt down, chest up, which is a problem unless you are fielding balls that are bouncing high. Okay. But when the ball is rolling on the ground and it's down, we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into it, but your butt needs to be up and your back needs to get parallel to the ground. When you get your butt up, back parallel to the ground, your hands naturally work out front behind your eyes. Let's talk about a ball that's coming right at us. So when I create my good flat back, okay, my head and my eyes are behind ball, my hands go down to the ground. One of the biggest problems that we have with young players is they want to field the ball too far up underneath them. And in order to get their glove down to the ground, if their butt is down and their chest is up, okay, like I am right now, it's almost impossible to get my hands down to the ground, my glove fingertips in a flex position down to the ground. It's not going to happen. And the only way that I can even come close to that is to get it up underneath me, where I'm fielding the ball way too deep, which causes numerous issues. So, the only time that we really ever field with 2 hands is in zone 1. Okay. Balls that are in between our knees that we can easily handle. It doesn't restrict us. The big thing is when we field the ball out front, it gives us room to make a transition as we work into our core and our elbows work out to our side. These straight lines and freedom create really good lines for the eyes, and they make everything appear to be much smoother, okay, and much better actions, Okay. They're cleaner. They're more efficient. So, you know, we're going to get more into the posture. The fielding triangle is a great starting point for youth players. You know, physically putting a triangle on the ground. What I used to do is I would draw it out because everybody's different. Some have, you know, longer legs, they're taller, whatever, what have you. So to be in a good athletic position, okay, to draw the base of the triangle and then show them where their hands have to be out front. Because when you're doing short hop drills and different drills, the tendency, you know, again, is to start letting the ball get too deep. Even if we start out front, a lot of times they're pulling hands back in too quick. You know, another key element to good posture. Good posture allows us to basically have three actions when we field a ball. Okay, we can press through. Okay, we can have that positive press through action, which we really don't use very much in reality. Okay, but we can do it. It needs to be in our toolbox. We can pick, which is basically a neutral position with our hands where we're not moving forward and we're not receiving. Okay, it's a pick when you pick a hop. Okay, you'll see a lot of professional athletes actually use a pick, okay, as opposed to a press, backhand press, okay, glove side press where the hands are moving forward towards the ball. The pick is a neutral position, and then the receive, you know, funneling is what we used to call it. And if you're not careful, you can actually field the ball too deep. But when you create good posture, butt up, okay, and flat back, good hip flexors. Now the eyes are behind the ball, the hands are down, we're on the level, and we can read speed. We can read speed of balls better. We can read hops better when we're down on the level. So there's a lot of positives for creating this posture. And the problem is we just don't work on it enough. Okay, I'm guilty of it. I'm an infield guy and I don't work on it. The picture looks good. We'll see if you have good audio. Okay, but I don't work on it enough. So what I have started doing with my players, of course, we do it at camp, is I've actually started to work on these 10 posture positions with my players. We call them posture holds. And I check their positioning, not only butt up, flat back, okay, hands out front, but also checking where their glove positions are, okay, how their elbows are positioned. Are they creating good, clean lines with their actions? Okay. And once we create the posture holds, then at that point, we can actually start to implement a transition and footwork into it as well. And I can do these all over the place. It doesn't even have to be at practice. We do ours in the weight room as part of our warm up. So let's hear what kind of volume you got there, Nate. What kind of connection you got? Are you muted? I think you're muted. Unmute.
Is that better?
Keep going. Give it a shot. Still breaking up a little bit.
Okay. So just checking in to see how the connection is. How's the connection right now?
Appears to be a tad bit better. It's still breaking up a little bit.
Okay.
There you go.
Can you answer another question? Maybe you answer another question. I'll try to get a little better spot.
Yeah, you're good right there. Let's give it a shot. I think you're in.
Okay. Super.
All right. I'll let you know if you're breaking it up. So we just talked a little bit about some of the benefits of good posture. Okay. We talked a little bit how it puts us in a position out front, how we can use all three hand positions with a press through, a pick, or a receive, because we're in a good position to do all three of those. We talked a little bit about some of the issues that are caused with poor posture, how it forces us to field the ball deep underneath us because the chest is up and we can't get the hands down out front. We're lucky if they can even touch the ground. So we discussed some of that. Do you want to add some into that?
Typically, when you think of posture, most people think of posture in the sense of what you're talking about. We're talking.
Yeah, you're breaking up still. Nate?
Just went out. Can you?
Yeah. Go ahead and see if you can reconnect.
Not now.
There you go.
Okay. How's that now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, but it's still shaky, but go ahead and give it a shot.
Okay, just tell me if it's not, and then you can do another question. I'll get a better spot.
All right. Your
So,
audio is good. Go.
When posture, people typically think about one area, really the body. You know, they're thinking about where's the butt and where's the chest. Well, there's so many components about posture, because you can have good butt posture, good chest posture, good back posture, but you can have bad head posture. You can have bad wrist posture. You can have bad glove posture. So there's so many components to posture. So when you think about creating an elite infielder, you know, the idea of posture holds in 10 different positions, because those are the 10 fielding positions. If I can be perfect when the ball's not coming, now I have a chance to be perfect when the ball's coming, and I don't have to think about it. Because infielder plays as an athlete, he competes with unconscious, spontaneous movement. He is unconscious. But the problem is, if you don't master posture and it's not a part of what you do and who you are and how you practice, what happens is when you get that back in the hole, your butt's up a little bit, your chest is a little high, and boom, it hits the edge of your glove, and you mistake on a difficult play. But elite players make that play because their chest is in better posture. So thinking about posture, we have 10 different categories from feet posture to knee posture to posture to back posture to chest posture to wrist posture to glove posture to head posture and eye posture. That's 10 areas of posture. And if there's a breakdown in one of those areas on a difficult play, what happens is now you're challenged, because difficult plays usually don't happen out of posture. So, and the biggest problem, Trent, is that all these players, they're being reinforced with bad posture. They make plays with bad posture because most plays are not that difficult. It's like 80% of the plays are easy plays. You don't even have to be very good to field a chopper. I mean, come on, a chopper that bounces 2 hops to your chest, or a routine ground ball, or a ball hits your left that's medium to firm hit. I mean, most plays are easy. And if it's a difficult play, they give you a hit if the guy doesn't make the play anyways. So it's like, how's the right now? Is it okay?
Yeah, I can definitely hear what you're saying. The video is not that great, but I can hear what you're saying, which is the most important part.
Okay, super. So when we're talking about being an elite infielder, we're talking about guys like Omar Vizquel, and we talked about it before. He's still.
We lose Nate. Nate?
The connection's horrible.
There you go. That sounded better. You there?
Is that better?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so everything goes back. We talk about it every night. It all goes back to the full circle of intent. What's the player's intent? Because players are lazy. Human beings are lazy. That's the human race. We seek comfort and pleasure. And human beings don't like to get out of their comfort zone. So when you have to go down and get your glove to the ground in posture, people don't want to do it. It's kind of like, here's a parallel in the concept of most human beings have bad standing or sitting posture. So what they do is they wait till their back goes out on them. Then they go to the back doctor, and the back doctor says, you got to work on your posture, sir. And he's like, oh, my bad. So the only reason why he starts working on his posture is because he faced adversity. He lost something, or he had a difficulty in his life. So now I struggle in the infield. I make an error. Now I go, oh, maybe I need to focus on posture, because I made the last 8 plays with mediocre posture. But then the play that I really needed to make, I missed it. And now I start going, oh, maybe I should really start prioritizing. So with most infielders, precise posture is not a priority, because they still can make the majority of the plays, and human beings seek comfort. They're lazy. That's about 90% of baseball players are lazy. And I broke it down into, it's a 90-10. 90% are actually pretty lazy, and you have this last 10 that are grinders. And there's the grinder, the CEO, and the CEO of the CEO. Those guys are at different levels. The CEO is a whole nother level. He is the least from being lazy, and he pays attention to the 212, which is 1 degree of separation. So the posture holds are brilliant because there's no ball. And I can sit there and have precision in the 10 areas of posture, from feet to knees to butt to back to chest to wrist to glove to elbow to head and eyes. and I can master it and I can hold it, because the body remembers memory, period. And when's the last time you created the right memory? So the posture hold should be done like regularly before you go out and take ground balls. The drill that we put on Twitter is 30 seconds, 10 holds, 3 seconds. You're creating immediate memory. So now you're getting your brain, your body, your muscles, all to work together, regardless of how lazy you might be. You just created memory, mental and muscle memory. So, you know, we all know the coach Augie Garrido. He was one of the greatest, and one of the greatest college coaches, maybe arguably the greatest in some people's eyes. I was at an infield camp that I was running years ago, and there was a scout there with the Cleveland Indians, and he was watching me do posture holds. This is about 15 years ago, and he goes, you know, I played for Augie Garrido. He goes, at Texas. He goes, we were the best fielding team in the country. And he goes, every day what we did is exactly what you just did. He goes, we did posture holds for like 5 minutes. And we had the best fielding percentage, and we were the best fielders because we got to the right positions. But we didn't have to think about it. We just created that memory daily. And it's so simple, so quick, but it's the details. And most people, once again, they don't work on their sitting or standing posture until their back goes out. Well, we don't want our infielders to have to start missing balls to start making posture a priority. We want them to make it a priority now.
I think the younger that you could actually implement the posture holds, the better off you're going to be. It's like there's no limit to how young you can start. Now, you may not have to do all of them if you're dealing with a very young player, but I'm here to tell you that infielders in general have they are lazy. They are just so lazy. And I know I'm reiterating what Nate just said, but I get to see it every day. Okay. And of course, as we're hitting ground balls, as we're watching our players, you know, do drills, we have to constantly stay on them, because the muscles and the ability to flex at the hips and to create good posture, it takes strength. And when you don't work on posture holds, you don't work on that strength. It's not necessarily squatting or, you know, strength that you get from the weight room. Ground ball strength, you know, is something that's very hard to develop. Learning to play low, learning to hold those posture positions, very difficult, and should be a huge priority. And like, my light bulb went off. I mean, even with Nate's tweet, as much as we do together, when I finally saw him do the fielding diamond, I was like, genius. You know, it's so simple, but it's so genius, because I'm using mats in my gym that are, you know, basically rectangle. If you turn them to the side, they become diamonds. And basically trying to create the same type of visual for my infielders. And I'm doing them with all my athletes, by the way, Nate, not just my infielders and my catchers,
Right.
my outfielders. Everybody's got to be able to get into good fielding positions. And you know, it doesn't hurt anybody to do it. And then when you're in high school, a lot of guys do what? They play multiple positions. So, you know, these posture holds are critical. So will you talk a little bit about the fielding diamond and how that came about, and why you feel like maybe that's even more effective than a fielding triangle?
Well, when you think about fielding positions, there's literally 10 positions. So when you think of a backhand, there's multiple backhand positions according to the angle. If I'm angled in, if I'm angled steep in, if I'm angled lateral, if I'm angled slightly lateral, deep, and very deep. So you have all these different angles for a backhand, but there's only two options. You're either in a closed stance or an open stance. My left leg's either in front or my right leg's in front. The point is, though, that you use both. And once you field the ball out of one of those positions with a different angle, whatever the ball's calling upon, what that ground ball is calling you to do, there's throwing footwork required out of that position. And the throwing footwork is going to vary according to any angle that you're in, and if you're closed or open. So it's really just the beginning. The beginning really is getting to posture, but then I need to have, you know, good actions. My levers have to work. My wrist, my elbow. Am I going forward? Am I picking it, pressing, pick, or receiving? So now I have three judgments to make. And like you said earlier, the press is used so little, it's almost even non-existent. Yes, you still need to have it in your toolbox, like you said, but picking and receiving is the majority of all plays. So you need to now have actions out of posture, and then you need to have footwork, throwing footwork to set you up for repeatable throw. So the posture is really just the beginning, but if you don't have it's like building a house with no foundation. So the 10 posture holds really, I was working on all of them, but it's like everything, as I'm getting older as a coach, I'm learning that everything needs to be in a system, because if it's not a system, no one will remember it. And not only will the student not remember it, I won't remember it. Because when I go to practice, I'm always teaching in a different way. There's no system, right? So people remember systems, and people like systems, and people are creatures of habit. So if you can go to the same system, and then the body creates memory, right? If you do something over and over. So I was like, the feeling triangle is great. And we started doing that, doing that for many years. And like you said, drawing in the dirt and cutting out mats. I had home plates backwards. And we've been doing it for ever since, the beginning. And they're huge because they're visuals for perfection. But the diamond covers all 10, from two-handed slow roller to bare-handed slow roller to one-handed slow roller. It's completely different. The body posture almost is identical to every play. The butt is up, the back is flat, the chest is parallel to the ground, right? The wrist is cocked, the elbow is slightly bent. I mean, all the body posture as a whole is pretty consistent. I mean, you might go 50-50 on one play, then 60-40 left leg, right leg, or 70-30. It's going to vary according to the play. But the idea is if I can master the 10 positions, and I don't have to think about it, it just allows me to repeat. It creates memory. So the diamond literally it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way through 10, and it happens in a flow. It's like a dance. Created it like a dance, so you don't actually have to step, stand up, move your feet. Every step goes to the next step. And right now we're working on a product which we're going to have for, it's going to be awesome. It's the diamond, and we're going to get it out to the public. And it's so simple, but it's so important. And it goes back to it takes you 30 seconds. And when you watch players make mistakes, a large percentage is due to posture. Now think of this. You have parents in the stand. You have maybe some played baseball, maybe some didn't. When an infielder makes an error, about 90% of the time, every single person in the stands can identify what posture position went wrong. Oh, he came up. Oh, his butt was high. Oh, his chest was up. Oh, his head came up. Oh, his hands were deep, right? The most simplest. Now, there's other little variations from wrist angles, right? Hand position, depth of feet, different, with the feet. So there's different pieces to posture in detail, but most people with just average baseball background, even maybe no baseball background, they can identify that it was a posture problem. But why do we have posture problems? I think that's the next question. What is the problem with not having posture? And we talked about it: lazy, lack of priority. So, but there's many others, and I'd like to touch up on some of those. I don't know if you'd like to comment at all.
No, I just wanted to say that it kind of goes back. So working on posture is like working on anything else. It's simple to complex, predictable to unpredictable. And when we create a fielding diamond or a triangle and you're working on posture holds, you're simplifying the process. You're taking the ball out of it. You're taking a moving ball out of it. You're taking the throw out of it initially. You're just getting into positions. And when you can recreate positions, the 10 positions properly, and hold them, now you have strength. You've made them a priority, and the person knows exactly what you're talking about when you're giving them cues in practice. Okay, now it's matching up. They have a visual of what it's supposed to look like in their mind as you're saying things to them, as opposed to just get your hands out front more, So it's really, really important that we build on, and then having the routines, like Nate said, having a process, having a routine as a coach, having a system. Okay, what do? We have throwing routines. We have infielding routines for practice. We have the big 5 that we do. We have T sequences that we do. And we have overall hitting sequences that we do. Because as coaches in this game of baseball, there is so much information that we have to cover. I mean, we're just talking about posture for 1 hour. Okay, there's all these different elements to the game. So to understand, to get us as elite infield coaches to understand all of these elements and then share them with people, it just helps tremendously to the person learning as well as the player learning, to be able to simplify down into things that can be repeatable and that can be worked on a daily basis. If I'm doing this with my players every day in the weight room and they're doing all 10 sequences of posture holds as infielders, they're going to get better and better and better. Guess what we're going to add in next? Transitions. And then we're going to add in the different types of footwork. Okay. We're going to, and we're going to add all that in until we build a process without a ground ball. What are the odds once I do that we actually start ground ball play, that I'm going to get a much better looking fielding process? Odds are way up, way up. So I just wanted to add that things are a process. And as coaches, we're so quick, Nate, at times to, just like players, we think things have to, like happen so fast, and we're afraid to go back and really build. And if you build properly, we don't create little robots. Okay. But we create people that have tools and they have understanding, so that now you're a better communicator as a coach when you're trying to get guys to do the right thing. So right. I just think that's a really, really some important points to add on to what you're saying. So,
yeah, I think it's important. And when we think about knowing the 10 fielding postures, I would bet you, now I don't know exactly, but I bet I could take the majority of the infield coaches right now in America, and I say right now, tell me all 10 and show them to me. They won't be able to be precise, I guarantee it, because they don't think about it, and they're misteaching. And the reason why I know is because I've been a professional infield coach for 30 years, and I didn't know for the first 20. And I'm around all these guys, and I know they don't know, because they still teach. I just told you on YouTube, there's 5 professionals. My one buddy played in the big leagues for 10 years. He's a Division I head coach right now, teaching the wrong footwork on multiple postures, because he doesn't know. He doesn't even know what he did. He has no clue. And everybody just regurgitates information. The biggest misteach of all is the one-handed slow roller with the glove. About 90+% of the infield population teaches you to field it with your glove leg forward. Just take a look at the tweet. The glove leg is back about 98% of the time. Rarely. I've been studying it for 30 years. I've seen 2 out of probably 5,000 plays where the guy's leg was in front. Now, this is a ball that's below the knee. If it's above the knee, it's considered a chopper. Yes, they field it with the glove leg in front because the exchange is high. When the exchange is high, you can field off left, throw off right. But when the exchange is by your foot, it's impossible, virtually almost impossible, unless you barehand. And that's why the barehand is field off left, throw off right. That's why the two-hand is field off left, throw off right. The one hand with the glove is field off right, step left, throw off right. There's an extra half a step in there, which, so super quick story. It's the same in the outfield, guys. The do or die play in the outfield is no different than an infielder coming and getting a ball on the run. That's what the outfielder does when he has to throw a runner out, trying to round third and score. The glove leg is back. So one of our guys, he was one of our area code guys, top draft guy, big time prospect, committed to USC. His first year, he's at USC, and I used to help run prospect events at USC with the team. So I'm there in the winter, and he just got through the fall. And I said, Bozo, his name's Bozo. His name's Bozonian. I said, Bozo, how's it going out here? He says, man, I'm struggling in the outfield. He goes, they're teaching me to field the ball off my glove leg when I'm coming in to do a do or die. He goes, I've already made 2 errors in the outfield. He goes, I've never made an error in the outfield in my life. I've already made 2 in the first month. They're teaching him how to field the ball off the wrong leg, but that's majority of even professional baseball. Watch all the big leagues. Just film any kid, roll a ball to a kid. He will naturally field it with his glove leg back. 1 is because you can get lower. 2, because it gives you a moment to literally get a grip and throw the ball. So we're not turning double plays. Double play is 1 step and go. It's catch, step at the same time and throw. That's 1 step and go. In the outfield, it's not catch and go. It's you need to get your feet under you. And so watch the big league outfielders do or dies. Unless it's above their knee, they're going glove leg back. Well, it's the same in the infield. And that's the biggest misteach. And that's 1 of the 10. But if I took an infield guy right now and say, show me the proper posture for an open setup for a forehand play. Can you show me? And then show me on a drop step. and then show me as a ball coming forward into a two-handed play. Could they show me? Well, some could, but there's a lot that couldn't. And if you are not confident, right, you're not a good teacher, because confidence is one of the biggest keys to sharing and articulating information, right? So if my audience believes me because I believe it, you know what happens? It's a done deal. It's over with. I'm a master teacher. The secret to master teaching is confidence. But if I don't know the 10 positions, how am I going to teach much of anything, Trent? And I'm not going to. And that's one reason why I've sought out to be a better coach, because I don't like being on the field and having 80% confidence. I want 100%. I want to change lives, and I want to make a difference, and I want to feel good about what I'm teaching. And we're going through this circle, and most coaches are out there going, I don't really know. I kind of think I know. I'm trying to remember. That doesn't work when you're trying to teach someone. It doesn't work at all. So you usually just leave them alone, and you don't help them. You don't coach them.
You know, I remember, Nate, when I was writing the Winning Baseball series, and you know, I've always taken the most pride in teaching infield play. That's kind of been something that I've been always excited to do, and just like you, always sought out information. And the last thing I wanted to do when I was writing a book was potentially put something inaccurate in writing. You know, right? We're
Right.
trying to help people, and so I remember talking to some of the most elite coaches, and I'm not going to use their name, about some of the things that I had questions on. It was mostly footwork related, first step related stuff for infielders, and I never could get a straight answer really from anybody. And you know, it's just a perfect example. And you know, I'm a guy that has taught that particular play wrong. I'm not afraid to say that I do things different now than I did when I first learned. I think you would say the same thing, Nate, about certain things. That's a little bit of a problem with YouTube, because you never know when the material was actually recorded, um, because we learn. And probably the one thing that Nate does better than anybody else, amongst the many things that he does really well, is he studies video. And who has time to study video? What most people want is they want information that they can trust. They don't have time to look at 20 hours of slow rollers in a row, you know, like you do. I don't have that time. I do it to a degree, but you know, and I think that's huge. I think people need to understand that, and I agree wholeheartedly. Okay. When you're a coach, like again, we're just talking about infield play. When you're a high school coach, you have to know like every facet of the game: bunt defenses, rundowns, cutoff relays, first and thirds, picks. Okay. Infield play, outfield play, pitching, hitting drills, you know, like the whole thing is, you know, basically you're responsible for. Hopefully you have some assistance, but knowledge is king. And if you don't have confidence teaching, what ends up happening, you don't teach at all. You know, youth coaches, a lot of them don't teach because you only can do what you know. You can only teach what you know. If you know little, you can only teach little. So we typically do whatever we've been exposed to. And that goes back to Nate's point as an infield play. So getting back to the posture, because that's our talk here, is how critical it is. And are we as coaches willing to put the emphasis on posture that it deserves? Because if we want to create the best fielders, you know, in our own program and give guys a chance to advance, we have to give them the knowledge of posture. And here's the big thing: players want to know the whys. They want to know why, like, why this way as opposed to what I've been doing? How is it going to help me? So, you know, everything Nate is talking about and I'm talking about is providing information to give you the whys. So, Nate, unless there's something specific you want to target, I want to ask you a question tied into something that is a benefit of having good posture, and you give the why to it. Is there anything?
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
would just like to say that what we're forming here is an infield membership, an infield team where we are going to have a membership where we're going to be providing these answers in depth. Right now, we're just opening the can of worms. It's going to create questions. It's like, well, how do I accomplish that? How do I really get my players to buy in? How do I build my confidence as a coach? How do I really know the why behind those 10 fielding positions? And how do I even know them? You showed pictures. and you showed me the diamond, but that's just the beginning. Because we talked about now you have to go talk to a group of infielders that are maybe returning all league players or varsity guys, or maybe just good players and good youth players. You know, you have to know what you're saying, and you have to have confidence. Otherwise, your coaching has no value, and you usually just say nothing. You just zip it and just take, you know, hacks and let people hit. That's why everybody just hits. Let's just hit again today. Play catch, stretch, and hit. But everybody does. That's not baseball practice. We're excited about the membership that's going to be coming out, and we're going to be building every week, answering these questions, building drills of the week, so much stuff, you know, doing critiques of our, you know, the infielders that are members, critiquing their skills, answering your questions. It's going to be awesome. It's really, really exciting.
It is extremely exciting, and you know, it's formulating as we speak, and hopefully we'll be able to get that kicked off, you know, by the 1st of July. So, you know, you guys look for it on TroskyRanch.com, the membership side of things.
1st of July? Is that one day? What's the day right now?
Today is the 30th. Yeah, maybe it's not going to be the 1st. It's going to be soon. Keep an eye out, folks. Keep an eye.
No, not the 1st. No,
Keep
we're
an
getting
eye
close,
out.
but
yeah.
Okay.
My fault. All right. So, Nate, how can fielding posture help a player get momentum towards their target? Let's talk about a neutral ground ball, zone one, whatever, coming right at you. How can having good posture help you get better momentum? Because we always hear momentum, direction, right? Those are big cues for infield coaches. Angles, momentum, direction. Okay. All good stuff. All right. But how does improved posture help improve momentum towards target?
Right. So the two words I want to bring up is posture and positioning. So you can have good posture and bad positioning. Okay. So I can be in posture, but I could be out of position to make a play. And I'm going to give you an example, a very simple example about that. Or I could be in the right position with bad posture. So for example, think of an outfielder. An outfielder right now is playing right field, and he's a right-handed thrower, so his glove's on his left hand. And the ball is hit to the line, and the runner's on second base, and it's shallow to the line, and he's going over to catch the ball. He has an option to try to get around it and get in front of the ball and make the throw to third because the guy in second's tagging up. Or he has the option actually to delay it, catch it, reaching, and do a glove side spin and throw the ball to third base. So posture wise, yeah, it might make sense to get in front of the throw. It could be on the ground too, same thing. The guy's trying to go for a double. The batter runner's rounding first base. The right fielder's going to the line. It's a ground ball. He has a choice to try to get around it and square up on it, or kind of delay, get it to his glove side spin, and throw it. Well, yeah, he was in posture to get in front of it, but that was not the best scenario. That was not the best position to give him efficiency and momentum for his throw. So it's the same when we're moving laterally all over the field. I have a choice to get in front of the ball or actually field it one-handed, and I can literally delay so that I can actually be in a better position to start my footwork into my throw. So it's the same with a backhand. I could choose to get in front of the ball, or I can actually pause a second, set up in the backhand position, and have the ability now to redirect my weight with efficiency, with quickness, with less effort. And my head's probably going to be in better posture too, and my glove's going to have freedom to go forward and back because my knees are not in the way. So the one-handed actions, glove side, backhand, and also preparing, because everything is about preparation for the throw. The whole game is preparation for the throw. Now, the first baseman, not so important. Second baseman, a little more important. The shortstop, it's the most important. Third baseman, it is important. But for the shortstop, who's the elite infielder, he is preparing every single play. So before he catches the ball, he has to be like the master pool player who is setting up the next shot with the shot that he's taking. So as you say, Trent, there's the A and the B of the play, the catch and the throw. We have the A phase, B phase. Well, when I'm preparing for phase A, I'm literally preparing for phase B, because it's not about catching the ball. It's about catching and throwing the ball with wu-wei, with effortless effort, with momentum and direction, where it's very little effort. My body's working with rhythm and timing, and I can repeat that play over and over and over. And that's one reason why we work on the hands so much. We do the hands we want to challenge the hands almost every day. We're talking challenge them. And the reason is this: if my hands are plus, I can field two hands, I could field one hand, I could field forehand, I can field forward, up, back, doesn't make any difference. And now I have my ability to adjust. I have the ability to adapt and adjust on any hop, which allows me now to commit. And this is the major reason why people get out of posture. They either lose focus, so they get caught a tenth of a second late. Boom, I'm late. What happens if the hitter's a tenth of a second late? It's over. You get jammed. You take a swing that's out of posture because you're late, right? Well, when the infielder's late, he's out of posture because typically he's going to be back on the ball, or he's not going to pick the hop that he should get, the good hop. And we have a choice, not all the time, but a large percentage of the time we have a choice on picking hops. So the focus is extremely important. And then the commitment to my ground ball is even more important, because if I'm not committed, I have no shot, because infielders get caught in between. When I'm caught in between, should I go? Should I stay? Should I backhand? Should I forehand? Should I get in front? Caught in between, what happens now is I lose posture because I get out of position. So focus, not taking pitches off. We talked about it last week, the triple E, triple A. Expect the ball, expect to be challenged, expect to make great plays. The 3A is athletic and aggressive. That's my intent, that's my mindset. And if I can carry that over into 140 plus pitches throughout the game, one pitch at a time, this pitch, what happens is now I'm on time. And then a part of my focus is aggressive. It's athletic and aggressive. And when I mean aggressive, that means commit. And if I'm committed and on time, and I have plus hands, even if my read is off, if it's athletic and aggressive, athletic means unconscious movements. You're just playing with freedom. So I'm playing athletically with commitment. That's being aggressive. And you know what happens? Oh, I get a misread, but it doesn't matter because I have plus hands. And I'm confident because I'm committed to the ball. You know what happens? My posture might be a little off. I might not get the right hop, but you know what happens? I still make the play. So lots of pieces there that I kind of threw into the mix, but posture is a product of the mental game just as much as it is the physical game.
Yeah, and I want to give a simple solution to what I see high school players falter on a regular basis when it comes to posture. And I think you can relate it back to hitting. Most people that understand hitting know that the head dictates posture angle. And when you want to look up quickly to see where you hit the ball prematurely, you actually come off your swing, and it impacts the ability for the bat head to stay in the hitting zone just a fraction longer. Okay, that's coming up out of your swing. When you're fielding in high school and below, what I see as a big issue is players panic, especially on the backhand side. They are so worried about phase B of the play, which is a throw, that instead of staying down behind and actually securing the catch, whether they're picking or whether they're giving or, whatever, they don't stay with it. They want to look up and start to make the throw prematurely, or they want to look up and see where that base runner is prematurely, and they get disconnected from the head and the glove, and oftentimes they mishandle the ball, or they don't make a clean transition, because when you come up away from the ball, you're also creating distance for your transition too much, and you don't have time like that. So basically they get in a hurry. They come out of posture because they want to look. So the head. So when I'm working backhand with my guys, I put a big emphasis on the catch, like literally see the catch, with your eyes behind, and then we'll worry about the throw. It helps my guys over the years, especially on the backhand, if we literally, especially when I'm teaching, to separate the A-B phase, because the head cause them to be disconnected so much. Just that simple little teach of keeping that head down in posture and not leaking out and getting disconnected before the catch.
Great. That's great. That's the piece of the head posture, right? The guy has good glove posture, good body posture, good foot posture, but his head's out of posture. He botches the ball. And so that's the beauty of, one is doing the holds, but two, you're holding them accountable, right, to a standard that's very important. And then it goes back to the mental game, because if I'm calm, if I'm literally calm and not trying too hard, and I have the ability to slow the game down, I play suave, I play slow, I play smooth. If I have that ability and I work on it, which the master infielder, the guy who's elite on the diamond, he's wired a little different. You can't take, it's very hard to take a high strung guy or a guy who's like a spaz, which is a lot of players, when the ball's hit to the backhand side, they rush. And when you're in high school, I'm sure you don't have a lot of choices. It's like, hey, this guy's my shortstop. What am I going to do? So, or, in travel ball, whatever, you only have so many choices. In professional baseball, college, you have a 35-man roster, and professional baseball, you got your whole farm system. So the luxury obviously is a little different in the amateur baseball, but or the lower levels of baseball. But yeah, the mental game's so crucial. I mean, that's going back to, can you just slow down? Can you relax? And if you relax, your head will stay down.
I think there's, something that always comes to mind, and it's just my gut. I could be totally off here. But I have found that many good shortstops have an artistic side to their mentality. Like you play music, you sing, you have that artistic side. I'm an artist. I draw, I can draw very well, always have been able to. But, it kind of goes into that. Shortstops, they can dance. They have the artistic, that ability to flow and move to music, a lot of them. They just have different elements of art. And that's, I guess, what made me think of that is just the artistic side of the play. Being an athlete, having freedom, and not being high strung, tight, robotic. Those things don't work when you're playing a game that requires, consistency, smoothness, touch, feel, confidence. It's really an art. The whole thing is an art. So we might learn it in pieces, kind of scientifically, but eventually the step A, B, C, D, E's got to be removed, and it's got to like flow. It's got to become wu wei. It's got to be like water. Okay. It's got to be like the river. It's got to flow, but you can't flow if you don't have the keys, which, to me, it all really boils down to posture. And, I'm just telling you, if what I'm going to do, and what I would encourage any coach out there to be doing, or any player, is start to put a huge emphasis on posture holds, the 10 posture holds, get a feel for what those look like, how they should be done. Okay. And then start implementing them, because it doesn't take a lot of time and effort to do so. And I think the benefits are huge for doing so. I mean, I think the benefits are absolutely huge. And like I said earlier, you can then add in transitions without a ball, footwork without a ball. And then when you start adding in a ball, that muscle memory is going to start to take over. You're going to see really good actions from your infielders.
Wow.
So we're right at about an hour, Nate. We're 2 minutes from it. So if you don't have anything that's jumping at you, you can close us with some thoughts.
I like to say one thing is that, don't wait for someone to steal your red bike for you to get pissed off for greatness. It's the Muhammad Ali story of, someone stole his bike and he got hot. And, I think it's the story that needs to be repeated over and over, because most people are waiting for something to go wrong to make something a priority. And that's the loser. The champion has the self-discipline, and they understand, they play and they practice with a sense of urgency. And we saw it in the Michael Jordan documentary, maybe the greatest to ever live in the sport of basketball. His urgency was another level, and Michael didn't wait to lose. I mean, but it's the same with any champion. So it all goes back to intent. What do you want from this game? What do you want from yourself? What do you want from life? And be real with yourself, but understand there's a level of alignment that's required. You can't just want something and then live any way you want. So if something's important to me, I need to make the main thing important. One of my players, he played for Augie Garrido when he's from our town. His uncle's Pete Incaviglia, maybe the greatest college hitter of all time, Oklahoma State, and that's his uncle, and they live in our little town of Monterey here. And I said, Inky, I said, you played for Augie Garrido at Texas. I said, what'd you learn from him? He said, he was different. And he says, the one thing that he did was he identified the separators. And then we made the separators priority. First, he identified what the separators are, and then he made them a priority. So every day in practice, we made the separators a priority. Now, the separators aren't always something special. We're talking right now, the 10 posture holds, they're so simple, it's almost like you don't want to do them because it's too simple. But when you miss probably anywhere from 40 to 60%, maybe even higher of the balls that you make mistakes on, you're out of posture. And a lot of times it stems back to not being focused, not committing, not attacking, not being confident. So we have to get our minds right. Get your mind right. But once your mind is right, you're going to see that still a large percentage of plays you make, mistakes you make are out of posture. So understand that is a separator, and make it a priority. Don't wait to make errors or be sitting on the bench your first year in college or your second year in high school. Some guy's playing in front of you. Make it a priority. It's very simple.
Yeah, that's really good stuff. I mean, I was just kind of reminiscing on my own playing career as a fielder and what cost me on mistakes that I made defensively. And a lot of time it was either I wasn't playing low or I didn't have a good sense of timing, meaning that when balls are hit, they are moving unbelievably fast. I have to read speed. I got to read angle. I got to move and I got to be in a good posture position when I receive the ball. That's an element of anticipation that goes into all of that. You just don't drop into posture like out of the blue. You're playing low, you're working low. You have to, it's like a quarterback hitting a receiver coming across the middle. You got to be in position in time. You don't want to be there too early necessarily, unless you're declaring a backhand or something. But, most of the time when I got beat, it's because I was late. I was late into posture. So that puts me in a bad fielding position. And, my own personal, just reflecting back over 30 years, it's been since I fielded a game in a competitive environment. And, that's no doubt, and I had pretty good fielding percentages, but, it doesn't take much. The difference is razor thin, guys. If you want to play this game at the collegiate level, the Division I level, the professional level, the big league level, major league all-star level, I mean, it's razor thin. Not only do you have to have part A, which is the catch, but good posture is also going to help you make good transitions. It's going to allow you to quickly and efficiently move into phase B and be more accurate with your throws. So there's more benefits to posture than just the catch. It has a lot of benefits. And as Nate said, if you don't make it a priority, it's not going to be. I mean, we can all say, oh, that's cool. This sounds great. I believe in it. But if we don't get after it and truly apply it, it's really meaningless information. And that's why I'm taking my guys in the weight room. And we are literally making this a part of our warm up. We will do it every single day, the entire fall. Okay. Every single day. And amongst other things that I feel like are very important. And that's how much it means to me as a coach to make this a priority. Is I'm going to teach my players how to do it. Okay. I'm going to emphasize the right things. We're going to build on it throughout the fall. So it's not just the same simple thing. Once they get really good at posture holds, we're going to start adding in transition. We're going to start adding a different footwork patterns into those different 10 posture holds, to make them better players. So that when we get out doing our fall work and our development work in the off season, where I have my infielders a couple times a week, that I don't have to take time to deal with posture. That's eating up valuable time that I should be working on other things to build their IQ and, their toolbox as infielders. If I got to spend 15 minutes of 45 minutes with my infielders talking about posture all the time, I've just wasted a lot of time, Nate. So, it's got to become a priority. It should be a priority. Why anybody would want to blow posture off now after we've just emphasized it, I have no idea, because it means more to me than ever. And I wish I would have known this stuff as a player.
Trent, I'd like to say something. It's great information. Thank you. But I'd just like to say two quick things.
Yep.
Players lose posture when they get tired. So understand that too. It's not always everybody's lazy, and it's not that everybody doesn't work on it. You know, some guys have great intent, but the problem is it doesn't matter how great your will is and how great your desire is. Once you get tired, it's hard to stay in posture. So if you're not in functional shape, if you don't have legs that are functionally in shape for tournaments, for 4 games in a weekend, or double hitters, or just playing, the whole game, if you lose that endurance, like a pitcher, what happens when he loses endurance? He throws balls. What happens to a hitter in batting practice when he's tired? Your muscles do not repeat. They lose memory when they're tired and fatigued. So it's the same in the infield. So understand that. So when you're training your guys, sometimes they need a break, and also too, they need to understand that being in tremendous shape is one of the biggest secrets to being a master infielder, because it's the only way to work hard with good posture is being in functional shape. So guys getting tired, that's one of the biggest problems. And the other one is, I had this one player, this is when I was a younger infield coach, and I was so excited about this guy. And I had the Detroit Tiger, my buddy, come into town. I said, you need to see this guy for the area codes, because I was with the Southern California team, and he was the Northern California scout with the Northern California area code team. He saw him take 3 ground balls, Trent. And this was in my beginning days, so I didn't really know what really scouting was about and what are they looking for. He took 1 ground ball at him. He said, oh, this guy looks okay. I mean, this guy was a stud. He was 6'3", like 230, playing third base and just crushed balls. And I saw a lot of things that I liked in him. He went down for the third play. He goes down to get a slow roller. And after he fields the ball, he says, stiff, over, done. The guy's stiff, man. He has a hard time getting down to the 2-handed slow roller, Trent. There's effort there. He had no interest. He didn't even put him in the area code tryout. This guy's 6'3", 230, hitting the ball 450 feet. It was like, no interest. The guy's stiff. He lacks flexibility. He lacks athleticism low to the ground, which does not allow him to get into posture, because posture allows you to make plays, right? He literally wrote him off. 6 months later, the guy worked on his flexibility, and he transformed himself. But that's not most players. Most players won't stretch. And it's the stiffness, the lack of flexibility, and not being in functional infield shape, which is huge contributors to not being in posture. So guys, it's just not do these holds. It's complete player development. It's a whole circle, and everything works together.
Yep. So
check out our tweet.
Yep. Check out the tweets. Shoot some information out you might have picked up tonight. Check out TroskyRanch.com for the blue collar lockdown if you don't already have it, and that's going to be upgraded, as we said. The virtual camp is also there. You can go in and pick up those 3 sessions. They're still available, and you can do them as if they were live. You can literally do them over and over and over again. We're going to be upgrading that as well. Of course, Nate's going to have the fielding diamond coming out. He's got some other exciting things. I'm working on about 3 things right now to go into our membership as well. So we want to thank you guys for another great night where we talked about the importance of posture, and look forward to seeing everybody next Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern. Good night.